All right, so a subscriber tagged me on a post last night, and it wasn't until this morning that I actually saw the post and had an opportunity to investigate. And what I was essentially tagged on was a copy of Incredible Hulk issue number 1. And as I read the post, I was intrigued more and more by what it was that I was seeing. And I want to read it to you. It basically says, for trade, Hulk 1 CGC 1.8. And as you guys know, I was looking for a 1.8 to a 2.0 if you've been following my video series. Looking for other grails, have a few that I wouldn't mind upgrading. Either DM me if interested. So needless to say, I immediately sent a DM to this person, and here was what my DM said. It says, my buddy tagged me on your Hulk 1. What are you looking to trade for this book? And that was sent right before 6 a.m. I was up pretty early, so I went ahead and sent the message. And now we wait to see what the response might be. 9panel is a digital marketplace for buying and selling raw and slab comics. Buyers on 9panel are able to search for, browse, and purchase collectible comics from shops all across the U.S., while sellers are able to manage their online shop their way with the support and security of the 9panel team and technology. Click the link in the description. So we made some pretty solid progress today against Hulk issue number 1. I had somebody buy a copy of Sandman issue number 1, a CGC 9.8 from the website regiecollects.com earlier today. The person immediately sent me a message before I could even process the order, sent me a message inquiring if I had other Sandman comics that they could potentially buy from me. Specifically, they were interested in issues 2 through 12. I told the person that I had a copy of Sandman issue number 8 on the website and would check my bins to see if I had any other copies that I could potentially sell them. And as I am a man of my word, I immediately looked in my bins, but I could only find one extra copy of a comic to potentially sell them. And it was issue number 11. Not the best copy, not the worst copy, but I reached back out to the person and I made them a deal. I basically said, look, if you buy issue number 8 from the website, I will throw in issue number 11. And if once you hear the numbers, these two books, issue 1 and issue number 8, that was some solid money. So why not give someone a little extra on top as like a thank you for spending some good money with me? The person promptly agreed to the deal, bought the second book, and then I bundled all 3 up, and I'm literally about to head out of here to go mail these 3 books off to the buyer. In total, these books brought in $1,520. The Sandman issue number 1 that was sold on the website went for $1,225, and issue number 8 went for $280. So 2 really awesome comics that have been posted on the website for a while. I felt like the price was right against FMV, especially in light of all the excitement around Sandman. So I'm pleased to have finally sold these 2 books. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed that the other Sandman books that I currently have at CGC right now will make their way back to me in a timely manner, and maybe we can keep this ball rolling forward. And to that point, I'm hopeful that I'll be able to continue taking some bigger chunks out of the price tag for Hulk number 1 by doing deals like this. So I will tell you that occasionally life gets in the way of being able to record content for the channel. And I honestly have not been as diligent as I should have been in recording the deals that I was doing in real time. So I'm going to try to play a little catch up here. I do have some footage that I will show you, but this isn't necessarily real time. But I recently did a deal for some Snyder books from Batman. And this is part of Snyder's initial run on Batman. And these books were left over from a previous deal. A person had previously indicated that they wanted these books, realized that they had them, and then did not want to buy them, which made perfect sense to me. So I basically bundled the books up, I put them on regiecollects.com, and a new buyer came along a short time later and actually purchased both books, specifically Batman issue number 871 and 872, along with a Comics to Go box from the website. Bundled all those things up, sent those off, and that brought me about $63. Next, I had an opportunity to basically do a two-part deal with another buyer. This is a buyer that I have not done business with before, so I decided to take a stutter step approach. They were interested in books from Detective Comics and also from Batman. And what I did is I pulled about 30 some odd books from Detective Comics. We priced them out. They bought them, I mailed them off, I waited for them to receive those books to make sure that they were comfortable with the quality of books that I was offering up. Once I had confirmation that they were pleased, we did the second part. And the second part was actually for some Batman books. In part A of this deal, if you will, it was a total of 36 Detective Comics that brought in about $171. In part 2, it was 34 Batman books, and I actually have some of those books sitting here on the desk right now. This is just part of the stack of what I am about to bundle up right now and actually send off to this person. There's a couple of cool books in here. This is issue number 356. Here is 364. What do we have here? This is 370 right there. Let me see if I can find some cool titles or cool covers. Here is 378. And basically these titles, or this pull, here's 381, actually ran from about 356 all the way to, what's the last book on this list? 566. So I covered a lot of range for them. And what they are essentially doing is trying to put together a run of Detective Comics and Batman. So I'm definitely pleased to be in a position to be able to help them. But this stack of books that I'm about to mail off here in just a moment will bring in a total of $230. And combined, part A and part B is about $401. So again, not a bad deal to do with one specific person. All right, so we have a response. Hours after my initial message. Not everybody is up as early as me. So the response came in about 1 p.m. And so the response was other Grail comics mainly. And so once I saw the response, which was a little after this response, I immediately sent a message, and it says Grails only or cash in Grails. And then my second question was, what pricing guide are you using to price the Hulk 1? So my thing here is to try to understand what might motivate this person. Yes, they said that they wanted trade, but are they expecting multiple books to be traded to close the gap on this book, or will they take cash? So Grails plus cash. I want to understand the terms, if you will. And my second question was really around what pricing guide this person was going to use to determine a value for their comic as well as the comics that I'm potentially going to trade. I like to always ask that question because if you're using GPA or Go Collect or Cover Price or eBay sales for that matter, I want to know that because now I understand how to frame up the conversation moving forward. So I also sent the person an image of 2 books that I pulled out of my collection to basically say, hey, I have some Grails that I'm willing to put on the table. And so I sent over a photo of Incredible Hulk issue number 181 signed by Stan Lee. It is a 5.0 signature series. And then I also sent with it a photo of Amazing Spider-Man issue number 1. I have a copy of the 2.0 restored that I'm also trying to sell. So I was like, let me go ahead and put those 2 books on the table. Maybe this will actually get the person's attention. They immediately responded, which I was pretty pleased with. And their response was, not many have sold recently. And so I find that response a little perplexing because I asked, a couple of direct questions hoping to get direct responses, but that's what we received. And so my response to that response was any chance you want to jump on the phone and talk about a deal. And so my thinking here is that we can continue to have the back and forth, me asking specific questions and not getting full, robust responses, or we can jump on the phone and have a conversation in real time and kind of sort out if we can make this deal happen. That is my goal, and so we will wait to see what happens next. In addition to those deals, I was able to do a few others. Via the website, I sold a copy of The Dark Knight Returns issue number 1. And this is a book that had recently returned to me from CGC. So it was nice to be able to turn this book around relatively quickly and move it back out to someone that really wanted it. And this deal netted me about $290. In addition to that, I was able to sell some books to someone that had recently bought some books from me. And I was able to sell to them a healthy stack of Ghost Rider books from the 90s, specifically Volume 3. And this included issue number 1 along with a bunch of other books that this person needed for their run. And this deal brought in $130. These two deals combined with the other two deals that I recently mentioned brought in a grand total of $821. All right, so it has been about a week now, and still no response to my last message about having a conversation. So I waited technically a few days to see whether the person would respond. I sent them another message, and none of my messages have been responded to or even looked at. And again, I'm not quite sure what to make of any of this, as someone else tries to call me right now. So the last message that I actually sent was, wanted to reach out to see if we might be able to connect regarding this book. If you have a deal on the table or have already traded it, just let me know. Thanks. That was technically my last message to this person. I honestly don't know what to make of this. I don't know what to make of it. I responded, I think, appropriately to their responses. I reached out to them, I thought, in a timely manner. The book is still technically listed on their social feed, and it does not say that it's been sold or traded. So I'm honestly not quite sure what to make of it. A few other people have tagged me as well on the exact same post, because I think folks know that I'm looking for this book, and I don't know. I don't know what to make of this. Despite how things seem to be going with this trade book for Hulk number 1, things are still looking relatively positive. And I will tell you that things are headed in the right direction. When you add up all of the deals that I've done thus far for Hulk number 1, I actually have a grand total of about $2,400. And as I've alluded to in previous videos, I also have other ways to generate money through sponsorship, through Patreon, through ad revenue from YouTube. And when you factor in some of those funds, I actually have now a grand total of $9,006.50, which again is not a bad amount of money. I do have some additional funds set aside, and these funds are set aside for some additional projects that I am working on that you guys will potentially hear about in the coming weeks. I cannot put those funds on the table just yet because I need to finalize some of these other projects to know how much of that money can be moved over for Hulk number 1. But I feel very comfortable right now putting $5,000 on the table. So again, we're sitting at roughly $9,000 against a Hulk number 1, which is going to probably cost me about $15,000 if I can find it. But in my mind, we are within striking distance. So with some more wheeling and dealing and a little more time and maybe a dash of luck, I will be in a very good position in a relatively short period of time to be able to make this purchase. I definitely want to encourage you guys to continue staying tuned to this series because we are going to make some magic. We definitely are going to make some magic. As always, I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you are, I want to encourage you to hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment behind so we can mix it up in the comments section. And don't be shy about sharing this series with your friends to let them see how some of the magic gets made, because as you all know, some of these key comics are relatively expensive, or just expensive, period. And what I am trying to do in this video series is to provide people with a path that will allow them to see how it is that they can actually get some of these books for themselves. And maybe not Hulk #1, but maybe another book that they really want. So I wanted to serve as a source of inspiration. At least that is my hope. Now, with that said, if you need to reach out to me, feel free to do so on Instagram at Regie Collects. Take care.